So, Craftivism, I run a small social enterprise that's people around the world now who do activism through needlework. My priority is activism, and the tool happens to be craft, which is why it's called Craftivism, and it's called the Craftivist Collective. It's all about slow activism, and last time I spoke about my journey into it, which you can see on the Fair Share YouTube, but this time I just want to talk about 6 little points of where I think craft can be quite unique in terms of engaging people as global citizens and as seeing themselves as activists. I've plonked this up. This is one of our mini protest banners that we hang off eye level in public, so normally below eye level, somewhere very small. It's this big. There's a few examples outside you can see, and it's cross-stitched. And I feel like this a lot of the time. I really wish Superman existed so he could fix the world so we don't have to. I don't know about you guys, but it does feel like a chore. I'd rather the world be wonderful so I could do other things. But I do want to make the world a better place, and I think it's gorgeous in many ways, and we can make it even more gorgeous if we work hard at it. So I'm still fighting. But lots of people don't want to fight. I work mostly now outside of the charity sector, so my background's in public engagement and campaigning, and has been for the last 7 years, and I've worked with some lovely people here. But now I work much more with art institutions, doing activism events there linked to their art exhibitions. So like the V&A, I do stuff with them where we get 150 people come on a Sunday and stay for around 4 hours stitching, who would never see themselves as activists, who are sitting there and thinking slowly about issues. I work a lot with universities, not with student groups, but more with the course tutors. So it might be fine art or textile or designer maker courses, to see how they can use their passions and talents to make the world a better place. So it doesn't have to be to sign up to an NGO, it can be in their everyday life. And I focus much more on working outside of the sector where activists aren't, and where people who don't see themselves as activists are, and try and engage them and bring them to then engage with people like you, but they need a few little stepping stones to get there. First thing really is activism and social justice is messy. You know, there isn't quick fixes, as we know. I worry a lot that we focus on the firefighting and get people engaged first of all in a quick urgent action, rather than talk about the complexities of injustice. And craft is a really nice symbol to talk about, so that people aren't put off and feel like it's all depressing or you're attacking them. You can talk about how are your morals and principles threaded throughout everything you do, from what you buy to what you eat to how you treat your neighbour to how you treat your global neighbour. And because it's a very visual symbol, it's quite a nice way for people to think, oh yeah, what am I doing to thread my morals through what I do? We also talk about shaping the future with your scissors, and we're change makers, not change givers. So it's a really nice way to draw people into activism using the symbol of craft. It's also, I found as an activist, as I was doing lots of quick activism, slacktivism, clicktivism, and I wasn't stopping and thinking deeply about activism. And as a campaigner, I felt like I was treating people like robots and not giving them the headspace to think about the bigger picture and all of the different ways that they could be global citizens. And because the craft I do, which is hand embroidery and cross-stitch, it's all very repetitive hand actions. And I've been very lucky to work with neuroscientists and clinicians about how brilliant this is to help people focus, to help people grapple with very complex issues for hours, because our kits take hours to do. And they do it because craft is a very comforting tool to do. It helps with anxiety, it helps with depression, helps with lots of things that social injustice can cause, and get all of those things that make us stop focusing and engaging deeply or strategically. Craft can bring us back to really think very deeply. So for me, critical thinking is an incredible thing that craft can offer, that I feel like other forms of activism sometimes don't give us that platform and that space to think critically on our own or in a group. And some of the ideas and conversations I've had with people after they've done their project on their own or in a group has been really amazing, and it's meant that I've helped them to inspire, see themselves as activists rather than just throwing things in front of the face saying sign this, do this, maybe do that. They've come up with their own thing. Tomorrow I'm doing a teaching which is all about stitching messages on little footprints, and again it's all about that slow activism where it's not quick firefighting, it's taking a step back and going, okay, so what is my role in the world? What's brilliant about craft is that it's a physical object, and we live in such a digital fast world. To slow down and do something physical is actually quite novel and even more impactful in that way then, because you are doing something with your hands, being offline. We get people to stitch messages around their footprint about how they can make a positive difference in the world, in their job, in their life. You know, we've had such an amazing conference so far. Your head's probably buzzing, and this is a good way to slow down and think, what can I do? And to have it as a physical reminder to put on your desk at work and go, am I doing what I said I'd do, or am I on automatic pilot and forgetting? And we have physical reminders in life in so many other places. We have post-its on the fridge. Religious people have religious iconography, all of that stuff to remind us to be good global citizens. We should have more of these objects in activism, I think, to remind us. And quickly going forward, in a group, one of the really unique things about craft is that you don't need eye contact with people. So in lots of activist groups, people who are introverts or shy don't speak. With craftivist groups, because you can stitch and listen, there can be silences and they're not awkward, or you can talk without looking at other people. So it's been used before with anorexic groups where they open up to each other more and they're focused on something for hours without getting really anxious. It's a brilliant way for us to grapple with these big issues, listen to other people, not judge people, and really have these conversations, because lack of eye contact sounds a bit weird, but it's actual gold dust if you want to engage people and make them feel part of a community in a group and listen and engage with each other. Given a craft item that someone spent hours stitching is a brilliant gift to people like politicians or businesses, where you're not screaming and demonizing them. You're giving them a gift saying, I believe you could do a brilliant job, you could turn this around and you could be amazing, and I'm going to give you this to encourage you to do that. How can I help you? Where can I challenge you in a loving, respectful way to help me understand where you're coming from? So it's a really good tool. So giving it as a gift. And the final one is I always do small and beautiful activism that's about provoking people, not preaching at them. So the fact that it is small and beautiful and gentle activism means that we get quite a lot of interest and people engage with us who wouldn't normally in places like this. So thanks a lot. I'm running away now.